Yesterday was full of controversial officiating, so why pick this play? Well, I was watching it live, and I was watching on the TNT Overtime app from this overhead angle, and I saw it and I was like, good God, that's ridiculous. And they didn't call it. Look at his body position here. This is not a shot attempt. This is not movement to the rim. This is using his body as a battering ram. Step one, knock the defender out of the way. Then proceed to shoot. Well, knocking the defender out of the way is dislodging. Illegal. And here, my thoughts while watching it. Karl Anthony Towns tried to run him over. It didn't work. He backed up, got some more momentum, and lowered his shoulder further in order to just run over the top of him. I mean, his plan was to plow the defender over. And I know there's this new generation of people that love to say, get in the gym, get in the gym. That's not what basketball is. Hate to tell you, there was a reason that basketball players were tall and thin and weren't built like football players and rugby players and UFC guys, because it was a game that required skill and finesse, and you were supposed to play by the rules, not just run over the person in front of you. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a game for wussies. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being strong or being muscular. You can have a size and strength advantage, but you still got to play by the rules. Yes, of course you can still drive the lane, but this is just running over the person in front of you.
I understand why Coach Malone was mad. Karl-Anthony Towns just ran over somebody.
No, he didn't.
That was
Play
a
defense.
foul
No, it's
in
not a
all
foul.
50
Play
states.
defense. Stop
You
flopping.
can't just run over somebody.
Yeah, you can. Stop.
Oh, Shaq. Shaq is just all over the place. Barkley says that Malone's justified in being mad because Karl Anthony Towns ran over the top of him. Shaq says, no, he didn't. Barkley says, you can't run over the top of someone. Shaq says, yes, you can. Well, wait a minute. So you're acknowledging that he did? Because first you said he didn't do it. Now you're just saying he can. And let's keep that quote on record. Shaq saying you are allowed to run over the top of somebody in basketball. You overpaid moron. This goes beyond whether or not it was in the restricted zone. It goes beyond whether or not feet were set. This is called dislodging. You've heard me criticize LeBron James for getting away with dislodging. Dislodging is a real thing. It is a term that you find in the NBA rulebook. They have it outlined in the NBA video rulebook, showing you examples of dislodging, which falls under the umbrella of a charge, an offensive foul. And the examples they provide are lesser than what Karl Anthony Towns did. Is that why the Nuggets lost? They're clearly outmanned. On the other hand, it's pretty hard to fight back when the refs are pulling this crap.
This is an example of an offensive foul for dislodging. The offensive player, Naz Reid, initiates illegal contact that dislodges the post defender P.J. Tucker from his legally obtained spot. This is an offensive foul for the illegal dislodge in the post. This is an example of an offensive foul for dislodging. The offensive player, Rui Hachimura, initiates illegal contact that dislodges the post defender Tomas Sidorensky from his legally obtained spot. This is an offensive foul for the illegal dislodge in the post. This is an example of an offensive foul for dislodging. The offensive player, Gorgie Jang, initiates illegal contact that dislodges the post defender, Marcus Morris Sr., from his legally obtained spot. This is an offensive foul for the illegal dislodge in the post.
Go ahead. Go compare them for yourselves. What do you think? I would say that Cats is way worse. Don't blame me. That's NBA official teaching us what dislodging is. It's just that the NBA officials don't know what's on NBA official. And then you got Shaq. Good old Shaq. Just can't wait to let the world know that he doesn't know the rules and tries to act tough even though he's the biggest person that's ever played, just absurdly advantaged in size over anyone. And he's the one that wants to talk about touching somebody up. Yo, someone drives the lane and you intentionally knock them to the ground, that's not basketball. And someone big like you feeling the need to touch someone up, well, then you're an overgrown bitch, like LeBron James.
But I understand why Coach Malone was mad. Carl Towns just ran over somebody.
No, he didn't.
That was a foul in all 50
Play
states.
defense.
No, you can't just run over somebody.
Yeah, you can.
That was a charge.
No, that ain't no charge.
I'm telling you, this was just an awful call.
But
he
that's
just
not,
ran over somebody.
That's not the reason you're
just
down
because you
30.
fall.
No, that's not the reason, but I understand why Coach
down 30.
You call a little tacky foul, and you let a guy just run over a guy. That's total bull.
Move your feet like they teach in elementary school.
That TNT crew, for the most part, is entertaining. They're more enjoyable than most of the guys on TV, but Shaq's stupidity is insufferable. Shaq was all over the place. He's like, oh no, man up. Man up, play some D. And then he said, move your feet. He just spit out everything. Dude, if you're trying to take a charge, don't tell someone to move their feet. He said, play defense. Jamal Murray took a charge against a 7-footer. That is defense. Since we're throwing basketball rules out the window and a guy who is bigger is allowed to use that size advantage to just run someone over, maybe someone who's trained in the martial arts should just deliver a roundhouse kick to the head of the guy trying to drive the lane next time. Would you like that, Shaq? Is that manning up? You see the intent. You see Karl Anthony Towns' intent, and he's like, oh, let me get another try at knocking this dude over. That was not a basketball move. That is not a basketball move. And thanks to 20 years of announcers covering for LeBron James, now basketball courts are full of guys that look like they consume 10,000 calories a day, don't run, but like to lift weights and just want to back people up and commit offensive fouls. The beautiful game of basketball. Infested by a bunch of balco boys. We don't need you encouraging that bullshit, Shaq, just because you're too stupid to know what the basketball rules are. Thanks anyway. Shut up.